Oh man, so we got Kingpin references, Pym arrows, we got fight scenes, we got more Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, we got a car chase. There's quite a bit to discuss in this episode, and quite a few rumors about possibly who's interconnecting in and coming in and gonna blow up the MCU. But first, let's take it back to the beginning of the episode before we get into all the, theories, Kingpin references, and stuff like that. Oh, so we get to see a little backstory on Echo. And for those of you comic-wise that don't know, she's actually a pretty common villain of Daredevil. She's kind of made to be the antithesis of Daredevil, the whole blind I can't see and the whole deaf I can't hear. Supposed to fight and all that stuff, and they're normally pretty big villains to the point where she can actually beat Daredevil in one-on-ones depending on the comics and stuff like that. But, so she's actually raised by Kingpin, which is a big takeaway in this because there have been rumors about Kingpin being in episode 4 coming in at the end, and then the rest of the series as well. He might make an appearance. Well, we'll have to wait and see until next week. I'm excited. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Kingpin will make an appearance or not? Because I don't know. It's looking like it, and I'll tell you where they reference him in the show in a minute, so stay with me. But so we get a little backstory of her, and fun thing about the actress that's playing Echo, she's actually deaf in real life, and she actually has a prosthetic in real life, and you can see that in the show when she's doing the karate at the beginning with the little kid. That's obviously not her, but it correlates to later on in the show when you find out that she has a prosthetic and she's actually deaf. So it's kind of interesting, and she does a really good job as playing the character. And you're going to want to keep an eye on her because she's going to be a pretty big role, noticing the fact that it's rumored that she's going to have her own Disney Plus show or series. So we'll see about that. Will it be like a backstory? Will it take place after we get done with Arrow? Or I'm sorry, not Arrow, with Hawkeye? I don't know yet. There's only been rumors, and it's looking like it's leaning more towards like she will get her own show or series as opposed to not. But so the real question is, we get her backstory, and Kingpin is pretty much her dad in the comics because her dad died when she was really young. In the show, you see the difference of her dad dying when she's, I would guess, mid-20s, and you can see her doing her martial arts training and everything, and her dad pretty much gets yeeted by Ronin. And so that's the little difference there, but they reference someone else, and you'll hear it when Echo's talking with like her right-hand henchman, the one that does sign language for her and all that stuff. They mention a couple times like, uncle will be upset, uncle will be mad, blah, blah, blah. Like, she has a really close connection with her uncle to where she doesn't want to disappoint him, but he's not quite a father figure as her father was, and as Kingpin was in the comics. So I'm thinking they're taking the role of Kingpin as the uncle, not actually the dad. And this probably correlates more into why she's Hawkeye's villain and not Daredevil's in the show right now. Because they pretty much needed to give her a reason to go after Hawkeye. And right now she thinks Ronin did it. So that's pretty much what correlates to that. Now, I don't think they showed Hawkeye's face, though, in the Roman massacre at the beginning. Could be wrong. I can't remember. So we'll have to see if it really was him or not. It probably was him. He was fighting those guys, but that'll come later. So Kate and Clark. So they're pretty much stuck over there with the thugs again, where they ended off right on the last episode, until they end up breaking out. And what it does is Clint ends up shooting an arrow, breaks her duct tape, and she flees, and they get into the car, and it starts a really, actually pretty nice car chase. There's not very many car chases in the MCU. There's a few. There's some in like Winter Soldier and stuff like that, but it's been a little bit, and it was a pretty nice car chase. Some stuff was dumb, but you could see them kind of bonding and connecting more. Kent's earpiece is now, what's it called, hearing aid is now broke, so now they kind of have to deal with that. And she's like yelling at him, and he's kind of repeating it back super loud, like he can't hear, because he can't really hear that well because everything that went on in the other movies and everything. It's kind of fun. It's nice little chemistry and banter going on. You get to see her getting to try all the trick arrows we talked about in the last episode, and he was like, nah, no trick arrows. You get to see the really cool Pym arrow, which when they shot it up, I was like, what is this arrow gonna do? Like, and then it just grows big, it grows large, and then it kind of just slams down into the guys blocking the road and flipping the truck and everything. It's pretty cool. It's nice to see that correlation just tagging in as Marvel does other stuff from other characters and how they help them out and things like that. That was really nice. You can see the quick little joke with the plunger arrow where she shoots it right at the truck, just kind of suction cups, and she's like, what's the deal with the plunger arrow? Then later when they break free from the car chase to go under the bridge, and they suction onto the train with the suction arrow, and she's like, oh, I guess that's what it's for. But then, so after they escape is where it kind of slows down. So they're trying to figure out now, honestly, how to clear their name and how to remain free and how to get everyone off of pretty much Kate's tail, so she doesn't end up getting yeeted and murked while Clint Barton tries to go back to his family for Christmas, all in a certain amount of time. They make little funny hints and comments in the show that you can pick up when they're at the diner. She draws something on the napkin or the paper there, and I guess when she's on, I was like, watch her draw like the original Hawkeye costume, and she does. It's a pretty bad drawing, but it's meant to be funny. She's like, what if you wore this costume, but all purple? Huh? And that's a reference back to like in the comics, it's costume and stuff like that, and it's pretty funny. Then you get to see the dog and everything, and that's pretty cool. And he might wear the costume in the show. There's a couple images of him wearing a costume like that. That'd be cool. It'd be cool. Like you never got to see Hugh Jackman when he's Wolverine wearing the classic costume. Like it'd be nice to see a Hawkeye wearing his classic costume that people know and love. He doesn't always have to wear, but just to see that as like a fan, that'd be really nice. But then the episode kind of winds down with them going to Kate's mom house, and they're kind of talking about their whole situation and stuff like that. And she's like, all right, let's get into the computer and see what's going on. And they want to look at, I believe, was his name Jack? The guy that Kate's mom is engaged to now. And they're trying to figure out what's really going on with all these people and the situation, who's behind what, and why is he still doing underground trading. And she thinks no one's home. So she goes on the computer and types it up, and Clint just takes a look around the house. He's like, what's really going on here? Let me just take a look. It's a pretty nice place. He's like, I'm in the wrong line of work if this is what your parents have to live with. And then as soon as he turns the corner, next thing he knows, boom, sword right at his neck. And it's the Ronin sword. So he's going to pick that up in the next episode. We didn't get to see his reaction, really. We just see him pause pretty much like, yo, don't stab me. And then the show ends, it was kind of an abrupt ending, in my opinion, but I can't wait for next week's episode to see where it takes off, because he's going to recognize that's his Ronin sword. But I don't know if he should let them know that he knows, or what's he going to do, because he probably wants to take it back, would be my guess. But then again, not very many people know that he was Ronin, and it's just a whole, like a mix of things. What's the best move for him in that situation? And so I'm excited to see where it picks up next week. But let me know in the comments, are you guys thinking that Kingpin will make an appearance in the show? They keep mentioning Uncle. They're going to have to show him, I'm assuming, whoever it is. If it's not Kingpin, I don't know who they're referencing as Uncle. So let me know in the comments if there's someone else you think they could be referencing, or if you're like, nah, Kingpin's got to make an appearance. There's been too many things with rumors about him appearing in Hawkeye, and then Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Spider-Man, whether that happens or not. But there's so many things going around these two characters that it's just crazy. And the fact Echo's in the show and her dad's dead and they're talking about their uncle. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy coincidences and stuff like that. But let me know, did you guys pick up on the Pym arrow? Because I watched it and I noticed it and I was like, oh snap. I was like, that's from like Antman, the Pym arrow. It was funny. It was crazy. I really liked that. And then the costume as well. Let me know in the comments, how are you enjoying Hawkeye? I'm enjoying it. I think it might be my favorite Disney Plus show. If I said Marvel show, I think I'd put Daredevil above it. But right now, I think I'm enjoying it. I love Hawkeye as a character. I love Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. And I think Haley Steinfeld is doing a great job as Kate Bishop. So let me know your thoughts on her, because that's going to be really controversial if people like her, and if you think he's going to hand over the whole Hawkeye totem to her at the end of the series, and would you approve of Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop to take that role? But we got episode 4 coming out next Wednesday. Subscribe, because we're going to do full review on that, full review of the series. We got more theories coming next week. There's a lot of stuff going on around this show and where it ties into the MCU, because you have to know. I'll end this. I'm going to give you the end of the timeline of when Hawkeye is taking place to kind of give you an idea and thoughts for next week's episode. So Hawkeye is taking place after the events of No Way Home. Let's say No Way Home took place in like 2023 or 2024. Hawkeye is taking place Christmas time 2025. So it's actually after the Eternals, and it's after Spider-Man, and it's after Doctor Strange. I don't know if they'll make any references to those things or those shows. Just remember that in the timeline if Kingpin or someone else shows up. And try not to get confused, because it is kind of confusing. So Hawkeye is taken placed later than all of those. But let me know in the comments if you learned something, what'd you learn? And also, are you excited for episode 4? We only got 3 episodes left, and there's a lot to do in the show, I feel like. So I'm intrigued to see how they're going to play it out. I'm super hyped. Subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year. I'll keep you guys posted on everything Marvel and everything the news, and Spider-Man coming out real soon. We got a lot of reviews and stuff coming your way. Thanks, guys.